Yeah, that was an ill intro. I thought I hit I thought I hit something there. I thought I hit a button or something. Like, yo, did I press something on the computer? The video started playing. It came out of nowhere. I was like, yo, I must have messed something up.
That was crazy. But I think that's the redo. I think that was the,
that's the remix.
He had to pull it back to the top of the key and reset the offense and go, all right, now.
It's a rewind selector.
OSNSR, Old School, New School Rules. The podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah, man. Lots going on. Yeah. I think we start with Coachella. I think we start with Coachella.
Yeah, start with Coachella.
We got Vita. Big shout out to our producer in the background handling things. Jamel Ridgeway, a.k.a. Vita.
A.k.a. Vita. Yeah. So, yes, I guess we can do a little chop and screw, right? And chop the intro up how we want to do it.
Oh,
yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, threw you off, huh? You all screwed up right now. So we're not live on OSNSR on IG, I don't think. I'm over there now trying to get it. No, I don't think we're live over there. But we live and direct on YouTube and Facebook, Old School, New School Rules. And sorry, technical difficulties, my bad. Laugh out loud. Shit happens. We all good though. Just hit us with hit us with the lineup. Vita, what we got? We talking Coachella. You know what I'm saying? We saw Meg Thee Stallion, we saw Missy Elliott, and we saw LL Cool J. Oh, we keeping it with LL? Come on, let's show the people what it is. LL Cool J.
Yeah, Cool J. Yeah. So we talked about, Noah L. And then also having the opportunity to work with him. And L's a headstrong dude. He's a workhorse. Yeah. He don't play around in the studio. You got to be prepared. I learned the hard way because I fucked up coming to the studio work with LL.
Why you say that? Huh? You learned the hard way. What that mean?
No, because when I came into the studio and I wasn't prepared, and then
really,
yeah, and then phenomenon almost didn't happen.
All right, so what was the deal? I mean, you got to go in, bro. You got to give me more.
Now, well, the deal was, he contracted Puff to do the song, and then Puff contracted me, and brought me to the studio. They had me play tracks for LL, and then LL happened to pick the tracks that I didn't have the floppy disk for. Back then, we used the floppy disk to save our production stuff on, and I didn't have my discs with me. So when he picked the song, I was unprepared. So they were looking at me and said, yo, how long is it going to take you for you to track the record? So LL could put through his vocals. And I told them 2 hours. I was lying to them because I didn't want to say I wasn't prepared because I would have lost out. So I had to think of something. I was like, yeah, give me about 2 hours to figure this. I was basically telling them, give me 2 hours so I could figure it out. Right. But I was just telling them, give me 2 hours and I have the song ready for you. So, but the 2 hours wasn't enough for me to figure it out.
Oh, wow.
It just wasn't because I lived uptown, like Mount Vernon at the time. And we were in Midtown Manhattan. And you're talking rush hour. So there's no way I was going to make it back in 2 hours. So I had to figure out a shortcut. So I was like, instead of trying to do the song, I got to redo the song. In order to redo the song, that means I would have to sample the track all over. And I got to find a record store where I could buy the CD or the vinyl if they have it. So I'm calling all over town. Come to find out they got it at Tower Records down in the Village. And I got to figure out how to get down. I was like, yo, okay, cool. I don't have to drive all the way up to Mount Vernon. I can shoot down to Tower Records. Then I got to hail a cab. I'm in rush hour fighting people so I can get on, cab drivers ain't stopping for me, and all that racist shit in Midtown Manhattan, flying down to the Village, going to Tower Records, picking up the CD, sweating, trying to get back on time. By the time I get there, 2 hours done passed. So you got Chris Lighty, you got Puff, you got LL, everybody sitting there ice grilling me as I walk into the studio, and they look at me like, yo, LL was like, what you doing? Yo, B, you wasting my money, B. Like, B? You out here bullshitting, B? It's like, what you doing? Right? So he starts wilding out.
Oh, wow.
So I'm looking at him, right? And I know I'm like, okay. So I can't say nothing to this nigga. I can't argue with him because he's right. So I kind of put my head down and I walk over to the drum machine and trying to figure out what I got to tell him. Right? So I can calm him down. So then I said, okay. I came unprepared. I didn't have the disc. And I had to do a song all over. So just bear with me. I know you're upset, but I just wasn't prepared and I didn't want to tell y'all that. So he said, next time I don't care what you do, bring an umbrella, whatever you got to do to make this shit happen. Bring a turntable, an umbrella. You need to be prepared next time. So I look over to Chris Lighty, and Chris is like, yo, don't worry. You know, LL's very temperamental sometimes. Just he's kind of like,
now, mind you, you know this dude since he was 13.
Yeah, but he's just a temperamental type of dude. And mind you, the nigga didn't even remember me when I was in the studio. He totally forgot who I was.
Really?
He didn't remember. I had to remind him.
Well, because you talked about that story actually before we went live. So you might want to do a redo of how you met Cool J and what year that was.
Yeah, it had to be like 82, 83. I would say like 82. I met Cool J because he used to come out to Queens, East Elmhurst, and he was in this group called the Super Rocket Brothers, and they were performing in one of my boys' basement on Dip Moss Boulevard in Queens, and that's how I got to meet him. And yeah, very hungry, very aggressive, knew what he wanted. And very, you know, he was tall, he was big, and you know, he took control of a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sorry.
What are you about to say?
No, I was going to ask you. You didn't tell us the song that you produced for LL that almost didn't happen. What song was that?
Okay, so yeah, so. It's a good thing. It was a blessing in disguise. I'm glad that it happened that way. I'm glad that I wasn't prepared, because the song ended up becoming better than the original song that he heard. So I had to recreate the song in the studio, or the track rather, and it came out better, and it ended up being the first single. That's crazy.
See how that shit is? See how it works? And the name of that song is
Phenomenon.
Okay.
Yo, the crazy shit was I had the first and the second single.
Really? What was the second single off that album?
Well, the second single, they shelved it. They didn't want to put it out.
They didn't want to put it out.
They thought it was too commercial. Yeah, they were.
Well, speaking of too commercial,
LL had on a shiny suit.
Oh,
yeah, he went there. There was like the whole, you know,
wow.
What do you go?
So, what year was that?
This was 97. What's the dude name of the director that was directing all the videos?
Hype
Williams. Yeah, he was the real shot. He was the nigga that created the shiny suits, believe it or not. Yeah. He was dressing niggas with the shiny suit. He's like, yo, we shooting this scene, you putting on that shiny suit. I think the man told us that. I think he said he was working with this designer, Benny Boom. Said he had a designer that was dressing all the artists that came on the set. So if you was shooting a Hype Williams video, you had to put on a shiny suit. Missy Elliott put on a shiny suit. Busta put on a shiny suit. LL put on a shiny suit. Puff Puff was the biggest. He was the biggest one. So Puffy became the poster child because he was the biggest artist to wear the shiny suit.
So the Hype vision was always hip hop big, right?
Right. But Puff took the rap for the shiny suit because he was the biggest one to wear it.
But you know, though we're talking about Hype Williams, we want to give kudos to June Ambrose, who was the fashion stylist for all of Hype's videos. So it was really June and Hype, you know, executing.
Right. So yeah.
But June was the one out there.
She was the one who created the shiny suit. Yeah.
When you're trying to make it look big, they did a lot of things right because Hype, as a director, his vision is, unquestionable. And June's execution, not only, we talking about, music videos, but also film and commercials. And, June's that chick. I've known her for a long time. I'm so proud of her and the work that she's done. But yeah, making the shit look big, it worked. But when Mace hit, it was like,
they took the shiny suit over the top.
Yeah. I think Mace. If anybody caught the bad rap for it, it was Mace.
It was Mace. It was Mace and Puff. But remember, Busta and Janet had on the shiny suit.
Yeah, for sure. But Busta being theatrical, Busta being like him and Missy are kind of like the same type of artist.
I mean, the I Can't Stand the Rain, that was a shiny suit.
Yeah, but when you a street rapper, you gotta be, big shout out to Run DMC because they took the fanciful outfits and then brought it back to the street. And I think that's kind of what happened with Mace and the Locks. And then you had the best way I asked what year was the Phenomenon record because
that was 97.
It was 97. Okay. Yeah, that was right after the Mace, because I'm thinking.
But the thing is though,
let
me explain something to you. Puffy them, they weren't wearing shiny suits. That was for the video.
Right. No, absolutely.
That was all. Like you said, that was June Ambrose. That was her thing. That had nothing to do with rappers wearing that on stage and shit. They had nothing to do with that. That was a video effect.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But
I even think that Sunshine video. Did Jay have on a shiny suit in the Sunshine video?
Who's that?
The Sunshine video. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think. Well, no. What about the is that the soundtrack with Maya? No, I'm thinking the Diamond Joint. Remember the soundtrack? What was that? The name of that movie? The soundtrack. It was Jay. That might have been Maya. They were talking about the jewelry and the bling. I don't know. That's bad. We supposed to know these things, Ron.
That was the bling era. I got a typo on my name. Hey, Vita, can you fix that? Laurencia. Turn me into like a French dude and shit. Ron Laurencia.
Oh, man. So, top 5 MCs.
Oh, man.
And the reason why I asked you that is we talking about LL Cool J.
My top five.
And we talking about Latifah. And we talking about Meg Thee Stallion at this point with Coachella. That's like opening up the door, a little bit. Missy. Top 5 female MCs. She won? She 2, 3? Wayne got her like number 1, male and female.
It's between her and Lauryn Hill. Oh, and Nicki Minaj. I got to put Nicki up there. Because Nicki could sing and rap. She could sing her ass off too. Mm-hmm. She sings just as good as she rhymes.
So Lauryn, Missy, Nicki. Who else? Got 2 more. Okay. Missy, Lauryn, Nicki, and I'll give you my 5.
Yeah, there's 2 more I got to think of. Yeah, Light's my girl. I got to throw Light in there.
That's what I'm talking about now.
That's my girl. Light. I got to throw Light in there. We got history together.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. One more. Come on, bro. One more.
I can't think of a 5th one, man.
All right, let me give you my 5. I'm going to go MC Light, number 1. I'm going to go Missy.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lauryn.
Uh-huh.
I got to say Rod Digger.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Angie Stone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Rest in
Alright.
peace to Queen Angie Stone.
Okay, I can see that.
Sequence, you know,
Yeah.
opening up the door for hip hop on a lot of levels right there. You know what I mean? So big shout out to Sha Rock, big shout out to Pebbly Pooh, big shout out to Lisa Lee, big shout out to Roxanne Shante.
Shante.
You know, and you know,
yo, you know what? I gotta throw salt and pepper. I gotta throw my girl salt and pepper. You know I gotta throw them in there.
Come on, man, salt and pepper.
You know I gotta throw them in there because they broke a lot of the trends. Like they kind of like we seen the female rappers at the beginning. When Salt and Pepper came in, they broke the door down and took that shit mainstream and gave women sex appeal.
Yeah, well, me.
You know, I'm saying like you know
they provided.
They came to Lil Kim's and oh man, look, Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. Come on, how we gonna forget about them?
I mean, you can't really.
You gotta put them in the top 5.
I mean,
come on, Lil Kim and Foxy. Yo, I can't. No, yeah.
I mean, so top 5 is probably an unfair.
No,
because it's too.
Kim and Foxy is 4 and 5.
Really? Okay, there you go. I get that. Go Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
today's rapper, my girl is Glorilla. I'm feeling Glorilla, even though she don't write her own rhymes.
What?
I love her flow.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Stop it.
I love that flow.
Nah, but stop it. Because you said because she don't write her own.
I don't know if she write her rhymes or not. I just like her flow.
What I'm saying, we just named a lot of people who don't write.
Those rappers I named, that's something different. We talking top 5. We talking top 5. That's something different. I'm just saying for now, for what I like to listen to. I'm not saying she's not a top 5 MC. I'm just saying what I like to listen to.
I'm not saying she a top 5 MC. No, but I'm saying because she's not a top 5 MC, we can't be critical of her not writing her own rhymes, and we don't say that about the other MCs that we hold to our heart. Like I'm with you. I'm not like I like Glorilla. I like her music. I think she's dope. But just like the dudes, I got special appreciation for certain reasons. And she don't fit the category. However, some of the people that I like didn't write their rhymes.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I heard Busta say he can't respect rappers who don't write their rhymes, right? But you got plenty of dudes historically who the illest niggas who had somebody pen some shit for them. Melly Mel.
All right.
Come on, man.
All right, so listen.
One of the greatest to ever do it.
I got you.
How you gonna say you can't respect that nigga?
No, because
you put it down for everybody.
It's you got somebody who wrote you something, or your whole catalog is somebody writing your shit.
No.
All right,
it's not even about that.
All right,
Busta said,
like I had
one person writes one person writes one song for you. It's almost like you disqualified.
No, I don't buy into that.
Because I mean, Snoop is disqualified because Jay-Z wrote that joint for him and Dre. You know what I'm talking about?
Nah. Who said?
You don't know that song? What song is that? The joint that Scott Storch did. Bling 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 bling.
You talking about Still Dre?
Yeah. So Jay-Z wrote that whole record. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, a great song is a great song. Like, regardless of who wrote it, who performed it, if it's a great song, it's a great song. And I judge it based on that. Right. Mm-hmm. But now if I'm looking at you as a lyricist and I'm looking at your body of work as a lyricist, I'm not gonna look at Snoop as a lesser MC because he performed one song that Jay-Z wrote. Right. I'm not gonna wet that. Now, when I look at Dr. Dre as an MC, I don't. Why? Because Dr. Dre has never wrote his stuff. He's a great rapper, yes, but I don't compare him. I don't look at him as a lyricist. You know,
yeah, right. He's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. Yeah, exactly. And there's no disrespect to Dr. Dre. I mean, he doesn't need my cosign at all, in at least a little bit. But I'm just explaining how I see, somebody like a Will Smith who's got people writing for him, and we all know it, but he's Will Smith. So it's LL, I don't put in that box. LL is he's a real MC. Rakim, real MC. KRS, real MC. Hakeem Green, real MC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I might not be the biggest rapper in the world, but
Yeah, I don't think Will Smith. I don't think he cares too much.
No, and he should, because as an actor, he
don't give a fuck.
But back to LL as an actor, as an entrepreneur, with Rock the Bells Radio, all his ventures.
Mm-hmm.
LL, thinking about where you first see him, where you as a 13-year-old, but me as in the Crush Groove movie, Box. That was our introduction to LL. And then seeing him from that point to where he's at now, it's just amazing, bro. It's just incredible. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So, Megan, would you put her in the mix?
Yeah, I don't know much about Megan. I don't really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't tell you much about her.
Yeah,
they all. I mean, I like Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
I like her flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I love her personality.
Mm-hmm.
She stands out to me.
Yeah. Do you think that it's hard for women, harder because of the sex appeal factor?
Is it harder? What do you mean it's harder for women?
Because today's rap, today's hip hop is very sexually charged. So it seems as if the bigger female MCs use sex appeal as kind of their thing.
Yeah, you got to look at. Well, yeah. Now I think ever since Cardi B, she fucked the game up. Ever since Cardi B,
it wasn't Lil Kim,
huh?
It wasn't Lil Kim.
Nah, because Lil Kim was lyrical. Lil Kim, she took what Salt and Pepper did and she put it on steroids.
All right, but Biggie wasn't writing them rhymes.
He was, but when he passed away, she picked up the rock. She picked up a pen and was doing her thing too.
Okay.
So lyrically, she was still nice.
Right.
Uh-huh. Even though Biggie did do her shit for her, she was still lyrically nice.
Mm-hmm.
Foxy, the same thing. So then I think when Nicki came in the game, Nicki was lyrical, but Nicki kind of brought in, she brought in the body, the nice looking, she had got the body done up, got the breast done up. Mm-hmm. So she looked like a stripper, right? Mm-hmm. So then the next exec was like, oh man, we need another Nicki Minaj. Let's go into the system. We're gonna create another Nicki and we're gonna write her rhymes. She's gonna look just like Nicki. The stripper body and everything. And we just gonna write that was Cardi B. Mm. So then when they made Cardi B, then the other execs is like, oh, we can do that. Let's go get some more strippers. Right? And we're gonna write their rhymes and we're gonna put them out there. Mm-hmm. Sexy Reds, and then the whole door opened up. And now it's not about who's writing their rhymes anymore. It's about let's just create an artist who looks the part.
Yeah.
So you got a whole bunch of these stripper chicks that's rhyming.
Yeah. So, I think there's a time and place for everything. Adult entertainment is fine as long as there's adults involved. So don't get it twisted. However, mm-hmm. It's like the downside of it all is that these images are being projected to children. So children think that, you have to do a certain thing in order to be a certain thing. And now, mind you, these women are super talented. The Coachella performance by Meg was crazy. That shit was dope. Mm-hmm. Very sexually charged. Adult entertainment is adult entertainment. I am not mad at it. You see an artist like Doechii, who to me is like the dopest female MC out right now.
Right.
Like she's fire, but she still uses sex appeal to her advantage, though lyrically, she's top notch. Bar work is crazy.
Yeah, she's dope.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it. With the, you kind of got to use sex. Like, are there any ugly rappers out there? Any ugly female rappers that's killing the game? Like, just busted.
And if they are, they're not This is what the industry's turned into. Pretty much. It's about marketing.
Yeah. So, Ron, you know I do Madism Sports on Tuesdays. Shameless plug. And one of the athletes that we've been keeping our eye on, especially through the football season, has been this young man right here, Jayden Daniels, who won the Heisman Trophy last year. And his previous year was his first season playing for the Washington Commanders, and he did extremely well. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Right. So, you know, young brother, good-looking brother, athletic, talented, got papered up.
Bright future ahead of him.
Yep. The mom is all up in the mix, like all up in the mix. So this picture right here is Jayden Daniels, his mother. I forget what her name is. I got to check the notes. Maybe you can check the notes right now. I'm rolling up weed right now. I'm getting my weed game ready. But the mom right here, she's sitting in between her son and Juju Watkins, who's the star female athlete at the University of Southern California. She's arguably the best basketball player female basketball player in the world. Like, you know, there's of course the WNBA. She's still in college, but like she's crazy. Like she's amazing and she's beautiful. So her and Jayden was kicking it at the game. You know, they was being friendly and polite, and the smiles was going, and they was, you know, flirting and what have you. And the mom came down and said, "Write this shit up. What are you doing?" And got on the mix. So
that shit in the bud.
Huh?
Did that shit in the bud.
So exactly. So Jayden was out at Coachella with his mom. So the word is she's being, what do you call it? A helicopter parent. Grown ass man who's a professional football player making millions and millions of dollars. They like, mom, fall back, let the young brother have a life. Regina Jackson, thank you. The protective mother and agent. And she's his agent. And she did a very good job with his, she's been doing a very good job.
She's protecting her investment. That's what she's doing.
But, you know, I mean, really? Like that?
Yeah. You know how moms and single moms is how they be. I mean, you were single. You grew up with a single parent. Was your mom overprotective?
My mom wasn't.
She wasn't like that?
Nah, once I was 18, 19, 20, it was like, I mean, really when I was
50, making $1 million bucks, $1 million bucks.
14, 15, 16. But once I got to college and it was out the door, my mother was like, all right, it's time for me to have a life. I did my job. He's doing his. Do you? You know? But it's different. His mom is his agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
and she's looking out for the investment, you know? So.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. But you know, Juju Watkins, she's no slouch. Like she got her own bread. She's got her own, you know, bright future ahead of her. Juju Watkins isn't like, you know, one of these other jokers out here that's just at the game trying to latch on, you know.
It would make sense.
Yeah, she really has her own thing popping. Like watch. And then, well, she got hurt this past year. I forget what the injury was, but she's gonna be out about 1.5 years. Now, mind you, Juju Watkins, bruh, she's so dope that she makes, I think, $4 million plus a year in NIL money. So she makes more playing in college than she would if she went pro.
That's crazy. Yes, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Like she's the real deal.
All the endorsements and shit.
Yeah. So we want to give her kudos and flowers as well, because, you know, when you have amazing young Black people out there, we should salute them and honor them and, you know, give them the right platform. So, you know, it's fun that we're having this conversation about him and his mom.
So the Asar and Amen Thompson Compound V scandal is going to break the internet, and he's right. These are some of the twitchiest athletes.
That's a whole nother conversation.
The Thompson twins?
Yeah, Thompson twins. I know the father.
I'm not even kidding you when I say these are some of the best athletes I have ever seen. Y'all talking about Giannis scoring 250 in the 70s? The numbers that these guys would put up would absolutely break the internet. Watch this clip here. Amen Thompson's going to teleport out of the corner like DK Metcalf chasing down Buda Baker. I mean, this is absolutely terrifying stuff. And the fact that both of these guys are absurd athletes is the craziest part. I mean, watch this play right here. It looks like he's straight up floating through the air and then he comes back down to earth. I mean, these guys are straight up made in a lab. Gravity just doesn't exist with these guys. I know everybody in the NBA is a 1% athlete, but these guys are like the 0.01% of those 1% athletes. That's how different they are. I mean, this alley-oop is just absurd. On top of that, both of them are special defensively. I think Amen Thompson should be a lock to make an all-defensive team. Players are shooting 41% when he's the primary defender. That's 4th best in the NBA. These guys are absolute freaks.
What's the dad's name again?
Vita's gonna have to put it in the chat, but I know he got a Bison honors. Honor.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's great to see Troy Thompson,
Thompson.
father of the Thompson boys, Asar and Amin.
He did a good job with the boys.
Yeah. One plays for the Houston Rockets and the other one plays for the Detroit Pistons, and they're both doing work. Both gonna be in the playoffs this year. I believe Detroit is a 6th seed, and the Houston Rockets are the 2nd seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be seeing a lot of these young men do their thing. Extremely talented. I love their name, Amin and Asar.
Yeah, those are my 2 names. One name was the Asar. That was the name of my publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
Asar Music Publishing. I dissolved that, but over the years, that's the publishing company I use.
Yeah, and of course, Amin Rock. Yeah, man. So
to show we all come from the same school,
Yeah, man. That's we talked about before how back in the late 80s, early 90s, it just wasn't the in thing to be on that vibration. And to see these boys in the league doing work, kind of
and carrying the name.
That's what I'm saying, carrying that name, like, yeah, that shit is amazing, bro. That's a good look and a testament to the work that many of us put in to carry that knowledge on.
And channeling that kind of energy on the basketball court says a lot too.
Yeah, bro.
And you have twins that are able to play on that level together. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that shit is dope. That's it, man. Watching these young people, whether it's athletics, science, and tech, just some major players, young Black folks doing some big things. So Black and brown and women and everybody, so we want to make sure we highlight all of that. Sorry, stick with basketball. I mean, it's the playoffs right now, I don't know how. Oh, no. Okay.
Trophy.
That's football, actually, Vita.
Yeah. We'll talk about JD Vance.
The Ohio State Buckeyes got, they won a national championship this past year. And every year, the winning team goes to the White House to be honored by the president. We don't know why JD Vance was doing this, but JD Vance was the one, doing the honors and dropped the trophy.
Just happened. JD Vance just dropped and broke the college football playoff national championship trophy during a ceremony at the White House honoring the Ohio State Buckeyes. You got to see this. If this isn't a metaphor for the Trump administration, then I don't know what is. By the way, remember to add the Midas Touch podcast right now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Oh, man. Come on, man. What we doing, bro? Where we at right now? He fumbled the trophy. JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States of America.
He broke that shit in half.
Yo, man, it's, life be lifing, even for the Vice President. Unfortunately, the Ohio State Buckeyes had to deal with the fumble-rooski. Had to pick it up, back together again.
That shit.
Oh, man. So in more news, and more news of idiocracy.
Elon Musk now admits his Department of Government Efficiency will produce only 15% of the savings if promised. But even that estimate is inflated with errors and guesswork. What say you?
I mean, fuck around and find out, basically. It's the the 52 fake out. It's the Fumblerooski, back to the Fumblerooski. It's we gave the keys to to people who don't know what they're doing. And they use this whole idea of DEI and unfair advantage to minorities and black and brown people to get positions to people who don't deserve it, who don't have the knowledge base to execute what we talk about. Social Security cuts. We talk about, aid to farmers. We're talking about, it just goes on and on and on. And they keep coming up short with the evidence, with the proof, with the reason why Doge even exists, or the reason why Elon is even wrapped up in our shit.
Mm-hmm.
He had to back away. He's technically no longer the head of Doge.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, he probably did that because he was losing a lot of steam. He lost a lot of his stock went down, and credibility. A lot of stuff just wasn't in his favor. And it was probably best for him to shut down. He was probably destroying his brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll probably step down too.
I mean,
niggas,
but why
niggas burning Tesla cars and
well, I know. We know why he would put himself in the mix. He said he was going to slash $1 trillion. However, it's only $950 billion of money. Like if he was to do what he said he was going to do, there's only $950 billion on the table. So the $1 trillion, number was just fanciful. There's legal and political barriers. You say you're going to do these things, but then it tries to get through the courts, and you get pushed back through the courts. But at the same time, you just got the chainsaw, and you're running around chopping.
Yeah, but you know what? He should have just, if he was gonna try to get into politics, he should have done that like on the DL.
Well,
just move behind closed doors.
He was doing it right, and this is me and my ignorance, but the corporate shell game is real, right? So since he's been involved in politics, he's losing value in his Tesla stock, right? So Twitter, he got a hold of Twitter, and Twitter went down the tubes, right? So you're technically losing money and then getting people to buy your debt, right? So then you got SpaceX. You need somebody to shoulder the finances of SpaceX, where you get a hundreds of millions of dollar government contract from the U.S. Some money on Tesla. Okay, we're gonna do a deal to Tesla trucks. We're gonna do these cyber trucks that the government's gonna purchase for military usage. So we're like keeping his shell game going. Taxpayers are keeping his shell game going. And he hustled us by saying he was going to save us money using Doge to find waste and, unneeded spending. And it's like, man, we got hustled, man. We really got hustled. That's the reason why he's all in the mix, is to save his own ass. But, humanitarian impact, cuts to grants and aid programs have triggered global backlash, with critics arguing Doge prioritizes optics over measurable fiscal responsibility. The government is funding Musk's company up to $38 billion. Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, etc. have received at least $38 billion in government contracts, loans, tax credits, and subsidies since 2003, per a Washington Post analysis. So, you know, we can go on and on and on. We just tell people to do their own digging, their own research on what's really going on. But, you know, I think it's quite obvious is he's using taxpayers' dollars to support his business ventures.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we got next?
What's up next, Vita?
Okay.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. It's a wrap.
Oh, wait, but I thought we had something else. No, that was it.
This is a wrap.
All right, then. This is Old School,
New School
Rules,
the podcast.
Make sure y'all check in with us at osnsr.com. Hit us on the YouTube.
Hit us on Instagram.
Old School,
New School
Rules. Yeah, we see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.